Right, welcome. We're talking today about how your voice, your throat activation is the part of your design and how you utilize this in your business in the online space. And so Jen and I decided to go live today to talk about this because we know that in our group in Planning by Design, there is so many women who want to speak more clearly, confidently, and in a way that actually sounds like them. And so, what we've noticed from women who come into Planning by Design from being in other coaching programs is that they struggle to actually find their voice, find their message because they've been told to niche down or they've been told to. Here she is, or been told to speak or talk or niche down in a certain way. And what Jen and I are here today to talk about a little bit is give you a sneak peek into our live business intensive next week, which will be talking about all of this inside Planning by Design. So if you want access, you should join. And so this is a little sneak peek, but we're going to chat a little bit just about what we look at and what we'll be talking about in this business intensive. Hey, Jen.
Hey, so yeah, to kick us off, this came up from one of our amazing members inside Planning by Design who was saying, okay, I'm starting to actually get my strategy and authority, right? She clarified, this is my type, this is my strategy, this is my authority, how I'm meant to make aligned decisions, and it goes like this. But she said, how can I go a step deeper? How can I communicate my message in an authentic way? So we quickly got to answer her question about the throat, right? It's about expression, the throat center. We want to look there.
Your voice and your message through either your defined or your undefined throat, and figuring out how you're not sort of watering down a version of your message that your audience actually needs to hear. And so next week in our business intensive, we're going to be going really deep into what it means to have a defined throat, what it means to have an undefined throat, what are the gates that you may have activated within there, and what words are associated with those gates that you may actually not just use in your content, but you will actually put them into your message. You will speak those aloud. And when people hear you speaking those, they resonate deeply with that message that you're giving to them. And it enables them to really hear, understand what you're communicating to them. So, again, this business intensive next week isn't just about like finding your niche or crafting the perfect elevator pitch. It's really about embodying your design and letting your natural expression kind of do the heavy lifting for you when you're calling in your ideal clients and you're calling in who you want to communicate and share your message with. And when you're sharing a message that deeply, deeply, deeply resonates with your ideal clients, that's when it feels effortless in bringing new clients into your business in whatever way that looks like for you. So, in our business intensive next week, we're actually going to be covering things like how your strategy and authority directly impacts your voice and how you can utilize those and leverage them in your daily messaging, whether it's through your posts, through your lives, through your stories, through your DMs. We're going to be talking a little bit about Mercury, which is in your human design and your astrology, and what it reveals about your actual messaging and how you communicate that out into the world. And then, we're going to talk a little bit about like why so many of us kind of get stuck in this almost like performance mode where we're not able to really get beyond sort of that vanilla content. Now, there's some of that is around mindset, limiting beliefs, conditioning, but some of it is just really not really understanding how we as an individual are designed to actually speak our message. Let me see if I can get Jen back on. She's messaging in the comments there. All right, here she is. Yay!
Yay, I'm back.
Okay, hopefully you could hear kind of what I was talking about. I was just going to talk about what we're going to be talking about next week, but you were in the middle of really talking about kind of this breakthrough our client had last week in Planning by Design when we kind of took her to the next level. So do you want to continue with that?
Yeah. So I let her know that it was about the throat, right? Our expression center. And I heard you mention, is it defined or undefined? But we're also going to take it a level deeper of what gates do you have in there? Each gate in the throat has its own voice. Are you speaking from this place? I know, Mistral, when we were talking about the voices in your throat, I was saying to you that when you use those specific words, when you speak in your aligned, authentic way, it deeply resonates. Like the vibration of those words really hit me. Whereas when you use the words that aren't your voice, they don't really resonate. I hear them and I'm like, oh, whatever. So yeah, really looking at your throat and honoring how is it meant to be used? And then also looking at your conscious Mercury gate. There's so much within your conscious Mercury, right? We're going to look at it from a human design perspective about that gate, pulling the gene key to what is the gift there? How are you maybe showing up in the shadow frequency where you're getting stuck, and how can you shift that? And then we're also going to look at it from an astrological perspective, right? What sign is your Mercury in, and what does that sign, what's its element, what's its tone, what's its flavor and vibration that you can bring in as well.
Yeah. And what I love about this is, and what I'm realizing, the more that I bring human design, astrology, my energy cycles into my business, the more success I feel that I have. And that satisfaction, right? My signature theme really shows. And when my clarity drops, then that really shows too. So there's so many layers, but this one business intensive, I think is going to really clear up a lot of information for a lot of women around how they're communicating their messaging out, and a simple tweak of the words that you're using and the way you're expressing yourself, I think will find a big difference in what's happening for you in the online space or within your business. And, this isn't just about what you post, right? I was sort of saying before, this is about when you go live. This is about when you talk in your stories, the way that you communicate in your DMs. This is sort of extends to just how you communicate in general. And then so much of this can be taken back to just how you communicate with your partner or with your boss if you're still in a 9 to 5. And so there's just so many ways that this information can be used just in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely. I am going to a networking social event this evening. I'm so excited about it. And I'm going to be playing with my throat. I have an undefined throat. So I am really here to reflect people's words back to them. I can say the same thing in many different ways. I really need to learn the lesson of timing, right? I can blab or not speak enough, and that's my throat out of alignment. So, with my only gate in there, gate 31 of leadership, right? This gate is really important for me because it's in a crucial placement within my chart. So, tonight, I'm really going to get to play with that, right? I'm going to talk to all these women, some things about business, but also just about life and connecting. And I get to be really mindful of, okay, what can I say? What might I reflect back? What is my truth, and how can I speak my truth through leading? How can I stay aligned, make sure that I'm not, blabbing and talking just to talk, or falling into the throat shadow of trying to attract attention, right? Am I speaking just so people recognize me? That's not how I gain recognition as a projector. This is how I'm going to be taking it into my real life and playing with it and seeing where can I find success. I'm also going to be mindful of where might I be bitter? Where might I be feeling bitterness after I say something out of alignment? Perhaps I fall into this gate's shadow of arrogance. And where am I finding success? So there's so much to it, but we're really going to walk everyone step by step through this next Tuesday. You have to be in Planning by Design in order to join us. And Planning by Design is such an amazing group. It's such an amazing value. We have calls every single Tuesday. That's why this extra Tuesday this month, we're doing this extra special business intensive, because we're seeing that our community needs this. So for $89, you get access to this business intensive. You'll join us for May for our goal setting. We have an amazing pop-up guest coming in to speak to branding, talk about messaging, like all this is going to apply for that. Then we have our accountability and support call, and then we also have our Q&A at the end. So you would get all of that just for that $89. So it's awesome.
It is definitely awesome. And it's so stacked, which is so beautiful. And so I think that if you're feeling the pull to understand how to utilize your throat and your Mercury gate in your communication online with your business, and you want to speak as eloquently as Jenn just did about how she's going to this business event tonight and is really excited to try this and then this and avoid the shadow and this and that, That's why you want to be in planning by design, because Jen and I are here to help support you to understand so that when you have these events or you have this online business that you're really trying to grow and build, that your message comes across not just because it's crafted correctly, but because you're actually speaking your truth and how you're designed to actually communicate with the world.
Yeah, and as we move into this new stage of business, I see everybody already feeling it and sensing it. And they're like, I have to be authentic. I want to be authentic. When I put myself in that cookie cutter or listen to the shoulds, it doesn't work, right? I fall into my not self theme. And that is because we need to be showing up authentically. And our throat is one of the most conditioned centers, especially as women. So, this is really, really important information for you to know as a human being, as a business owner, to find alignment, to find ease, to grow your thriving business because you are showing up authentically as you, speaking your truth, communicating your really powerful message that you're here to deliver to the world.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about astrology and human design. Like it literally tells you what you're here to be and do and create and talk to people about, and you already know it. This is just like an affirmation that gives you the heck yes, I can go and do this now because I know this is a part of my mission here.
Yeah, and I am just so excited to watch all of the like aha moments that all these women have inside this workshop that we're doing. And they're going to have the replay to go back to after to look at it. And we've also created a workbook for this, haven't we,
Oh,
Miss
I
Shawl?
totally forgot about that. We have, yes. And that's the best part because then it's something that you have with you at all times to look back on and remind yourself when you're writing content. You can literally go back and be like, these are the words I should be using in my content. This is how I should be showing up. This is a really important part of my message. So let me not leave that out as I'm like walking my way through this piece.
Yeah. Yeah. And then within Planning by Design, right, we're going to continue to support our community with this new information. We have our Telegram group. I imagine our Telegram chats are just going to be blowing up with everybody really resonating and seeing it start to come out in their life over the next month.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. And it's the perfect time right now to be looking at this as we're coming into like our sort of second quarter of the year and really getting yourself set up before summer hits, especially if you're a mom and you're wanting to like have some good communication in your business before the summer hits and you're kind of just scrambling. Now's the time. So it's, Jen and I really believe in aligned and perfect timing, and this is it. So make sure you get yourself into planning by design so you can join us for that workshop next week.